Inside the Game, back live across your airwaves here on the National Soccer Network, episode 282. It is Cinco de Mayo, as we got on the bottom of the screen there, so a happy Cinco de Mayo to those who observe, or as Cinco de Drinko, I guess, if you're in college.
Oh, I used to say that all the time. There was a Mexican place in Mount Pleasant called Aztecas. And we always went there on Cinco de Mayo. We'd get so me and one other, everyone would be in twos, and then they would split the margarita tower or whatever. So it was insane. But man, it was so much fun. I just felt like crap afterwards because I was eating Mexican food, and then I was drinking all the margaritas. Oh wow, you guys are quick in there today.
Cooking.
Dave, Hearts, man. They might get it done. But Dave is asking, so what I'm asking for is Rangers to win their remaining 3 games, Hearts and Celtic to both lose the next 2, and then draw with each other on the final day. I'm not asking for much. Dave, I don't know
Seems like a lot.
I don't know if you're gonna get that, my friend. Hearts 2-1 victory yesterday. I totally forgot about it. I was cutting the grass and I was like, wait, I think Hearts won today. And that's what happened. Same thing with Manchester City. Maybe Hearts can do what Mark Gahey did yesterday. Oh my God, that was like the dumbest thing I have ever seen. He literally turns around and passes it straight to I forgot the guy who scored, right to the Everton striker, and he put it in. I'm like, dude, he had to have had money on the game. There's no way. He had to have had money on the draw. There's no way.
Yeah. And it just seems too good to be true. And with all the things we've seen lately with players just trying to, point shaving and over and unders and whatever. Yeah, it was brutal. And just rewatching it too, because I know you had talked about it coming in, and I was like, yeah, freaking wild.
We will get Fabian. We'll get to you in a second. But I will say this, because I know Man City was supposed to lose yesterday, and that's what I know. We're going to talk about Arsenal Atletico a little bit later. So Dave will probably want to mute the chat at that point. But I'm just saying, I would much rather have Man City tie yesterday than lose, because it seems with this Arsenal team is that whenever City drops points, like they lose games, they get complacent. They get too comfortable. But for whatever reason, this year, when it's got dialed up a little bit, they play so much more free. It's weird. I can't explain it. And I think them, still getting a point, meaning, Man City still doesn't, they still have fight in them. They're not going to quit, anything like that. I think that is still going to keep the pressure on Arsenal, despite, being, I guess, essentially a half game up at this point, I guess. I mean, I can't really describe it in baseball terms or anything, but it feels like half a game up because, they're up by 2 points, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. But I'm just saying I'd much rather have City have that draw than that win, because when the pressure's on Arsenal, they've dialed it up in the Premier League. We've seen it the last 3 games. Newcastle, Fulham, and even the Man City game itself. So I'm happy that it's a draw, because it's going to keep those boys dialed in. But hey, they got a bigger game today. Fabian, what's up? Taco Tuesday. Who will win the El Clasico? Real Madrid versus Barcelona. I would say Real Madrid is checked out at this point. If we got Mbappe on yachts in the middle of God knows where, in the middle of the season, and he's in the middle of a title race, I don't think Real Madrid stands a chance at this point, to be completely honest with you. And then Fabian, here's obviously you tagged us yesterday. Here is Fabian's son's goal. Just running the length of the pitch, just running. Which look at that. That's like Gareth Bale against Barcelona in Copa del Rey a handful of years ago. I don't necessarily know what that celebration's all about, but
goodness.
I don't know what the celebration's all about.
How about this? Wire to wire.
That looks like Gareth Bale in the Copa del Rey all those years ago against Barcelona, his first year in. So shout out to your son's great goal. If anyone's got any videos or tweets, I know we've had Dave's tweets up on the show a handful of times. We've had Fabian's son's video on. If you guys have any videos or tweets you want to mention us in or anything really, we can put them up on the show, especially at the beginning. So shout out to you, Fabian, and your son.
Yeah, we would love to see him. And yeah, good stuff. Kid's got good ball handling with the length of the pitch
Ball
that time.
handling.
That's a nice little goal right there. But before we get into, because I do want to allow us the opportunity to talk about Arsenal and Atleti, the Champions League coming up today, as well as we got a lot of conversation. Wrexham, we wanted to talk about as well, how them not getting promoted could be a good thing. I know you talked about that on social. Also, maybe a little pro rel here in the United States. Started that conversation, didn't get to it yesterday. We'll get to that one today. But we got a crazy busy summer coming our way. I mean, like beyond busy. Excited for the USL 2 to get rolling here shortly. Obviously, we're going to have game of the week. Neil Rule coming up on Friday, expecting to talk to him again about everything USL and what's going on. But I wanted to mention this because you had brought this to my attention here shortly before we got on here today. And I hadn't seen this video, but you knew it was coming. But that was the hype video that Fox just put out of the U.S. men's national team in the 2026 World Cup, which apparently, and this is, I'm just kind of looking at what this is in the description of it. We can't show the video on our show because if we do that, then we'll get dinged for it. But it has the U.S. defeating Brazil 3-2 in the World Cup final on Fox Sports. Christian Pulisic scores the Olympico before, and he does it again here to help the U.S. beat Brazil in the World Cup final. It has Mike Eruzione in there. It has Tom Brady and Zlatan in there. Why are they doing this to the American people?
Get them
Ryan?
hype. Damn it, I'm hype. I'm hyped for it.
Why
We're
are
gonna
they-
win the
why-
World Cup now.
Why are we doing this? Oh man,
We're gonna win
like,
the World Cup now.
I know. Okay, what for the based off the power of a good PR or bad PR?
Yeah.
This is so bad.
Yeah, that's the point of hype videos. That's not really a hype video. It's just an ad for the World Cup to watch and
It
get people
is.
excited. I think
Yeah,
the
that's
best part
fair.
about it is like they're printing like Weston McKennie on like the $1 bill or the $100 bills. They got Zlatan getting his hair cut. You got USA has ran out of beer. It's like,
man.
no, damn it, the USA is winning the World Cup. Damn it, that video's got me pumped. It's got me excited. I'm ready to go. I mean, it's no different than what was it? Who was the guy from Landman that showed up in the USA hockey commercial right before? It's like, we're going to take the biggest thing in Milan. And it's like Canadian tears. And you were like, the USA is not winning gold medal at all. And I said they were. I said, damn it, they are. Because I
No,
saw
you
that
didn't.
commercial.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
you
I
you
did.
said we weren't. No,
Rewind it back.
No.
It was question of the day. Rewind it back. Question of the day. And you said, I'm so used to heartbreak and all this. It's going to be a silver medal. And I said, damn it, we're winning gold. That's what
I
I
ain't
said.
buying
You
it.
can rewind it back. Rewind it back. At the beginning of the Olympics, I said we were winning gold. And you're out here
Right.
being like so used to, losing so much and all this, and it's going to be a silver medal.
All
No,
right.
damn it. We're winning because I saw that commercial. We're going to get things running this year in the World Cup. USA's winning it, damn it. We are winning it. We're going to cut Zlatan's hair again.
All right, I gotta go find receipts then because I mean, I did say we weren't gonna win it, but I was also 99% sure you also said that. So if
No,
that-
you
that's
can
not
rewind
the
it. I
case,
said, damn it, we're winning gold.
I will go back. I will go back and double check, and we'll see what's going on. I think it is genuinely funny. I know it's a hype video. I know it's meant to get people going. It is what it is. But
It's not a hype video. It's just a commercial. It's not a hype
commercial, a hype commercial to get people hyped up. There you go. But it is, it's just you can't get bounced in the group in this situation. But let's get into our first topic here in hour number 1 here before break number 1. Arsenal playing again here today in the Champions League. Ryan, I know you probably got a breakdown of what you're expecting for this one here tonight.
Yeah, I expect Arsenal to go through, to be completely honest with you guys. I've said it last week that I feel very comfortable with this team. I feel that this team is starting to click on all cylinders, especially – where did it go? Oh, okay, that's weird. I think this team is starting to click a little bit on all cylinders at this point. I think that they are playing really well, and especially with everything dialed up, I think they've seen all the memes of themselves, and I think they're ready to go. I think this team is playing, dude. They're playing back to what was it, 2021? No, yeah, 2021, pre World Cup or pre 2022 World Cup soccer. That's what they're playing right now, and it's so much fun to watch. Like they're so free flowing. It looks like they just don't have a care in the world anymore. They're just going out there to ball. And in that Atletico game, I mean, by the way, all the toilet paper being thrown, I've never seen that in a soccer game. I've seen it in a basketball game at McGurk Arena in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, but I haven't seen it on a soccer field of that magnitude and in a stadium like that. But if I'm being honest, in that game, there was like 20 minutes where it felt like, okay, Atletico might put 3 past us. But for the most part, Arsenal played well. I mean, I think technically Atletico had more chances and more shots, and that all happened in that 20-minute span. But it felt like we were in control of the game, and we were away, and we still didn't have fresh legs at that point. We still kind of don't have fresh legs, but it feels though that this team is clicking. I don't necessarily know if Atletico is going to be able to come in and win. I really don't think that. And everyone talks about, Arteta can't win anything and all this fun stuff. Diego Simeone can't win anything either. So it's like, well, it's a tale of, bottle jobs, I guess. I mean, really, Atletico's never really put in a position to win anything because, Madrid and Barcelona win everything, it feels like. But just looking at the recent results, I mean, they have not played. No, they did play on Sunday, or they did play on Saturday. So they do have it. They did play. Most of their players were in that game as well. So, actually, no, they weren't. So they got a full rested squad. Interesting. Okay, they got a fully rested squad. But again, I don't think their quality is better than ours. Do I really think Johnny Cardoso is going to come in and beat us? No. He doesn't do anything for the U.S. anyway, so I don't even think he's that good. Christian Roldan's going to play over him anyway in the World Cup.
Yeah.
So
that video of him, that between the legs video of him with the defender, that was pretty cool.
Gio Reyna went on like a solo run against Mexico all those years ago and almost.
That's true.
So look, I don't think Atletico is going to come in here. I just don't. I don't think that they have the quality to come into the Emirates, ball, and beat us. I really don't see it at all. And we're tied. And I came away from last Wednesday. I'm like, a tie is fine at this point because, I mean, we went on the road or away from home, as they say, and went into a hostile environment. I mean, that place was loud. It was rocking. And now we're going to come back home, and the whole pressure from the league's not there anymore because of what Man City did, and the fact that Arsenal still has a game in hand. All they have is 3 games to go, but the pressure's gone. I feel like the pressure's gone from this team. It's weird. It's weird to say that, and it's weird to think that just a week ago I'm like, dude, Man City's gonna win this damn thing. Like we are just selling the bag, but that's just like not the case. Like it feels like since that City game, all the pressure has been gone. It's the pressure valve is just like there's no pressure anymore. We lost cabin pressure. Everyone just like they're just hanging out now. Like they're just balling. They're having fun. It looks like a Michigan basketball team when they're up by 30 points against a Big Ten team. They're just out there. You got Yaxel Enneborg doing windmill dunks and 360s, and Kadosh just chucking up half-court shots and making them. It just looks like they're having fun again. And I mean, maybe I'm just being a slappy for all this stuff, but to be honest with you, I've been right about on pretty much on all my UCLA predictions since the quarterfinals. So I mean, just saying.
Well, in a team that is playing free and loose and easy, and again at home, and we did the comparisons between what Arsenal has the rest of the way and what Man City has the rest of the way. And again, one of our biggest talking points was the fact that Arsenal's home schedule is far more favorable than that of what's happening across the way.
And I said
Man
Everton
City,
was going to be a tough one, and they did it. They showed it yesterday. 3-3.
Right. And so, that in and of itself, you have the supporters behind you and what is a much easier finish. And you also are, I mean, again, to your point, after faltering against Man City the first time around, it almost kind of like you're right. It took the pressure off. Not that the pressure isn't there. And frankly, it's always been there for Arsenal. to finish the job and finish top of the league. That will never go away. But the vibe and the feelings and everything else is where it needs to be. But for a team that also, we've talked about how good they've been off of set pieces, and people don't love that, but the way they're moving around right now is indicative of kind of a clash of styles between them and obviously Madrid. I mean, they are so good at, they're rigid, they're a low block team, and so if Arsenal really is playing free and easy, if they can score easy early in this one, then I think they control it from the jump. And again, utilizing what you have in a home heavy finish to the season is going to be so important for this team to finish things out. Now, if they don't take advantage of that, heavy home schedule, then that's going to be a problem. But, I would say that the pressure is always on, but I think they've gotten better at dealing with the pressure. I think that's, when the noise from the outside is a lot less than on the inside, then you're doing the right things. And so it really does have that sense of everything is kind of paved the way it should be for Arsenal. But I do think that they're playing against a fresh team tonight. I think they're playing, as you mentioned, a side that has rested a lot of their best players. But, you got to take advantage of what is a very favorable set of games the rest of the way.
And that's what worries me a little bit. I mean, this is the easiest run-in that I've ever seen in a Champions League that Arsenal's ever had, because typically in years prior they're always sucking in the group stage or the table phase. Now guys, my bad for Arsenal finishing top of the table in the Champions League phase, and which kind of guarantees them an easy path to the final. Weird how that all works, guys. It's almost like, I don't know,
if
Bayern
you win,
Munich
you get rewarded for it.
Inter Milan maybe beat us. It's almost like a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament doesn't really have to play anyone until the Elite Eight, and that 2 seed or that 3 seed's got to win 3 games to even get there. Weird how that works. Like, I had the Michigan State fans were like, "Oh my God, Michigan had such an easy path to the national champion or the Final Four." So Michigan's
because in some
seed.
leagues the regular season means something. In some leagues, in some sports leagues,
weird
you actually got to win
works.
games in the regular season.
So
to be in a good
1
spot.
seed, maybe instead of Tom maybe losing all those games in the regular season and getting a 3 seed. Wait, you got to play UConn in the Sweet 16. Michigan, you got to play UConn in the national championship. You don't have to play Arizona until the Weird how that all works. But that's my biggest fear is Atletico going to be fresher than us? And I think to an extent, yes, because Arsenal's playing in the league, Atletico, and they're in a title run-in. Atletico, they've been out of the league for a long time. They've been out of the run-in for the title a long time. So they've been able to kind of rest their players in the league phase in La Liga, whereas like all they got to do is focus they got to put all their what is it? Rings in one hat. Is that the phrase? Is that how it goes?
Eggs in one basket.
Eggs
but
in one basket.
I hear
Thank
where you're going.
You. Hey,
there
Shrock, what's up, my man? Shrock's in the chat. He didn't type boys right, unless he said boyos. Is that Spanish? I don't know.
Oh, boyos.
Is that Spanish, Shrock? Shrock feels like an intelligent guy. Maybe outside of his, sporting teams that he roots for, Notre Dame, Texas. He's probably secretly a Purdue guy or something. I don't know.
He's a Lakers fan. I know that.
He's a Lakers fan too?
He is. that was before LeBron though. So he's an OG Lakers fan when they had Kobe.
Anyway, that's my biggest fear is them being more fresh than us, and that is why that draw yesterday means so much more to Arsenal, because if you're able to not have to play your best players in the final game of the season in the Premier League, and you're able to rest those players against what is the last game of the season? Crystal Palace? Yeah, Crystal Palace for a Champions League final. If you get there, that is so big, because here's the difference in last week's games. Arsenal has to play in the league. They're the only team in the Final Four in the Champions League to actually play competitive games in the Champions League, or in the league, I should say, because Bayern Munich has wrapped up the league like two weeks ago. It don't mean anything what they do in the Bundesliga at this point. PSG's in a Farmers League and Ligue 1. Like, they're a great team, but like they don't have to play any league games. Atletico's been knocked out of La Liga for a long time. They don't have to play any meaningful games. Arsenal, on the other hand, they're kind of in a title race at this point with Manchester City. They're trying to win a title. So they've got to play their players in, week out. They have to. And in order to win things. But which makes the Atletico Arsenal game look a little not as sexy, I guess, if that makes sense, compared to what PSG and Bayern Munich, because their players are so fresh. And Arteta has said that. Pep Guardiola, that he was so pissed off about that PSG Bayern game that he went down to, like, what is it, the Championship or League One, to watch Stockport County. He said he wanted to watch real football. He's like, that PSG Bayern game just rubbed me the wrong way. I wanted to watch real football. I want to go watch them. If they are able to, Arsenal, if they're able to get to a Champions League final and they're able to not play their best players in the final game of the season, that is so monumental to help them potentially win a double, which if that happens, Nate, I'm just letting you know, I ain't holding anything back on this show for like a week, probably more, because I've been hearing it.
We got to give you your own. Got to give you your own dedicated segment if it's if they're going to win the double.
I might go solo for a day just to like pull up all the receipts. I might just pull up the receipts and just go on and on and on. Shrock says, only because I don't watch NBA. LOL. It's my I guess them team. You still chose the Lakers. That's still not. I mean,
he chose a good team, man. My man likes a winner, I guess. He also
tell me
likes
what
LeBron
they won
James.
in the last 5 years.
An NBA championship in 2020. It's not Mickey Mouse. It still counts just the same.
Oh, the bubble. When there's no fans, there's no travel, anything like that. We had dudes like TJ Warren dropping 50 points a night. You mean those guys?
TJ Warren is a legend. You don't talk bad about TJ Warren, man. That dude's the GOAT. Anyways, let's tell the people about FC Bayern and come back. We'll
just
talk
saying,
about
Shrock, I'm just saying.
talk about Wrexham.
Soon he's going to tell me he's like a New York Yankees fan or something.
Just wait.
Wait, are you a Dodgers fan, Shrock? Is he a Dodgers fan?
I believe he's a Yankees fan.
Oh, my God.
I think you actually hit it on the head.
Oh, my God. This guy Shrock's a glory hunter.
I'm kidding. I think he's a Cubs fan. I think he's
a Cubs fan?
Grown out. I think he's grown out of his Yankees fandom because he's right down the road from Chicago. So, his wife is a Cubs fan, so therefore he is a Cubs fan because that's how marriage works.
Okay, that's better.
Anyways, FC Bayern summer soccer camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels. FC Bayern camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. Right now, save $30 on registration by using promo code BayernNSN30. Again, that's BayernNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more at FCBayernYouth.com.
So the dream behind Irene's was simply to be a place where the community could come and gather. This is my hometown. We're raising our family here, and we just want to be a space where people can come together as a community and share a great meal. We've got golf simulators, we got pinball, live music, trivia nights, but we also have fresh, always homemade, locally sourced food, and we serve it with a sense of Gemütlichkeit. This is a German word that conveys a sense of warmth and coziness and belonging. We're excited to show off how we're growing and that this is the place to be.
In the one place you belong, here on Inside the Game, episode 282, here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler, Ryan Glinsky. Ryan getting into topic number 2 here today. In our number 1, The one team that has caught popularity and has caught on to every single social media we've put up. You mentioned this a little bit earlier. Wrexham, unfortunately, did not get promoted this weekend. Kind of fell short of what their goal was, this year. Obviously, their ultimate goal is to get up to the top domestic league in the Premier League. It didn't happen for Wrexham, and you had actually put a video out on social media talking about how this is a good thing for the club. Why do you say that?
Lots of money reasons would be the main reason. But Schrock says, hell no on the Dodgers. I grew up watching the Yankees pitchers, but now my wife is a Cubs fan, so they are my allegiance. Happy wife, happy life, Schrock. I see.
Yep, there you go.
This man out here playing 4D chess. That's what this
playing
man.
Chess,
we're out here playing checkers, and this guy, Schrock, out here playing 4D chess. No, the main reason why I think that Wrexham, not getting promoted is a very good thing is because, one, do we think that this team is actually capable of competing in the Premier League? And we saw what they were able to do against a B team of Chelsea, and they struggled tremendously. I thought personally, they struggled against Chelsea. What was that, the FA Cup or the Carabao? I think it was the FA Cup. One of the cups anyway.
Yeah.
And they struggled.
Yep.
And Chelsea hasn't won a game in like over a month at this point in the Prem. So I'm just saying they've struggled. Which, by the way, if you guys have not hit the like button on the YouTube video, make sure you guys do that, and on the Instagram video. I see a lot of you guys in there. We don't have a ton of likes, so make sure you guys hit the like button. Helps them out tremendously. Make sure you follow us on social media as well. Nat Soccer Network and Sports Nation TV. Schrock, I could never afford to go to games for pro or college, so now it feels like real fandoms, except I will never let Texas go. Boomer.
The eyes of Texas,
you know what I'm gonna do?
Upon you.
When we get into like football season, I'm gonna start wearing my cowboy hat to the show. I might not be able to wear headphones. I might not be able to listen to you at all, Nate. I'm just gonna be talking, but I'm gonna wear my cowboy hat. I love wearing my cowboy hat. It is the only hat in the world that I can pull off. Because if you put me in a normal like ball cap, I look like a 4-year-old kid. But you put me in a cowboy hat, I'm pretty badass.
There you go. I think when we look at Wrexham, by the way, I am looking forward to that. You got to get the boots though. I mean, if you're gonna do the whole get up, you may as well do the whole get up. You're gonna be like one of those dudes, those A&M, the callers is what they call them, the student section peeps. Actually, they don't have cowboy hats on. The callers.
Callers,
so like the student section leaders. Yeah, they're called callers. Like when they do their whole chant thing at A&M. Those oddballs.
That's dumb. That's a dumb name.
Yeah, it is scary. But anyways, the biggest issue in my mind when it comes to, or at least the reason why I would agree with what you're saying. I mean, I do think they are still at some level disappointed because it's clear to me that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney don't have any issues with making risky financial investments. I think if anything, they've been very bullish about every move they've made in this entire process. So for them getting bumped up to the Premier League probably doesn't stress them out nearly as much as what we would think it would, but there is a big time difference between infrastructure and ambition, and I think this is the dividing line when it comes to Wrexham, and why maybe not getting promoted right away is a good thing, because it'll allow them opportunities to actually maybe be prepared if that happens a year from now or whenever it happens, but not in this exact moment, but what does an extra year do? Well, when you look at it, first of all, updating the stadium, getting your facilities to the point to where they can support a Premier League side. If you do make that jump, the place that they're playing in right now needs a lot of work. The Derby needs a lot of work. And so, they're focusing on fixing things up and building that place. It needs a high capacity to be able to, again, host those games, but to also just to compete with world-class squads. There's a lot that has to go into the playing surface, the structure itself, probably making updates that they haven't made. I'm guessing probably in years and years. Also you think about if you get promoted right away, now you're panic buying. You think of the financial weight that comes on
100%.
buying the types of players in order to just maintain and not even like win the Prem. But now that we're here, they always say the hardest part about being successful is not becoming successful. A lot of people become successful. What do you do when you get there? What do you do to maintain being in that league. And again, unlike, the closed league structures here in the United States, this is why pro rel is so fascinating, because when you get there, it doesn't matter what you did the last couple of years. You still have to perform to stay exactly where you are. So I guess they call it the yo-yo trap. I didn't realize there was a terminology for that, but you get promoted. Maybe you get promoted when you're not ready, and now you're panic buying, just to make sure you stay. So that would also not be something that's financially viable. So, in terms of building up the club itself and slowly matriculating your way to become a stronger club, as opposed to just let's spend everything we have just to try to stay where we are, that's a big one. Managing the global spotlight, financial health. I mean, everything in terms of the money component of it is very alarming. And again, I know clubs lose money. I get it. But, to have to make all of these sweeping changes in a course of, one stretch, over the summer to get ready for next season, and to make sure that not only just in the Prem, because yes, getting to the Prem is Wrexham's goal, of course. But I would also think once they get there, they don't want to come right back to where they just were. And so with how quickly it was happening, if we're trying to find silver linings, there's certainly a few of them.
Yeah, a couple of things in the chat. My dad says, because your cranium is enormous. Dad, we really going to go with how, big our heads are? We really want to go there?
I mean, I guess we both got noggins, yeah.
Dave says, I've said it before, they should have stayed in League One for an additional year to build up the back room / academy with no great pressure. I would agree with that. I would agree with that statement 100%, Dave.
Yeah, the academy is another side of it, too. You have to have an official, what do they call it? I don't know, but they have to update it. Yeah, big time. Anyways, go ahead.
I mean, the documentary showed that the amount of, players having to, change at the race course and then drive all the way to the training facility. So the training facility is not even in the vicinity of the of the stadium itself. And that's a big issue for a club. You should be able to drive to one spot and change there and go out and train and then go home. Like, that's what you should be able to do easily. But you talked about the buying. I mean, so the club has already, I forgot what they reported, like 25 million pound loss or whatever it was this season. It's going to grow more, especially with this past season that they had. It would grow exponentially more with going into the Premier League. I mean, clubs that go into the championship, I think their payroll increases by 50%. And that's because, the bonuses in players' contracts where, like, there's clauses where your percentage, the amount of money that you make goes up this amount of percentage if we get promoted. Same thing, it goes down if you get relegated. But you're also paying for players that, that probably wouldn't go to your side unless you were to pay them, you overpay them a little bit, but you're also going to be paying for Premier League quality, which means you have to pay more, you have to give them more money, which I don't necessarily know if Wrexham is capable of keeping that foundation set in place. Look, I feel like they got promoted really quickly. And that's why, like Dave, the League One is the perfect example for it, because when they were in the National League, they basically already had a League One side. So them getting promoted into League Two and then getting promoted automatically into League One, that was no surprise to anyone. The biggest surprise was going from League One to the Championship, and now they're competing already in the Championship. Look, I mean, as great of a story as it is, and especially in the short attention span world that we live in now, obviously, you want to get promoted. You want to get to the best as quickly as possible. But the issue is this isn't a video game. This isn't FIFA on your PlayStation or your Xbox. You can't just get promoted like I did with my Portsmouth team way back in like 2015, where I took us all the way from League Two all the way to the Premier League in 4 seasons or 3 seasons, whatever it was. This isn't a video game, guys. This is real life. Yeah. There are certain steps.
I won the World Series with the Pirates, so
yeah, exactly, guys. This isn't a video game. This is something that you've got to do right. You've got to set up the foundations right, and you can see that in certain clubs that have been in the Premier League for a long time. Crystal Palace is another good example. They had the foundation right. They had the youth club, or not the youth clubs, the youth academy built properly. That's what they were building it basically on. Eze, Olise, Wan-Bissaka, Balasse, Zaha, all those players. And then you think of a club like Fulham, who got recently promoted, a couple of years ago. They're staying up for a long time. Bournemouth, Brentford, technically Aston Villa, Brighton. You got to look at clubs like that, and the way that they do it. And I don't necessarily think Wrexham has gotten to that point as a club in their kind of timeline as a club. I don't think they've gotten there
Yeah.
yet. Look, the TikToks, the FX documentary is only going to take you so far. You've got to be able to set up the other things that aren't seen on TV.
The idealism is there, right? Because of the popularity of this team, the practical application of what it takes, not just to get to the Prem, but stay in the Prem, is the problem. That's really what we're addressing here. And you also got to think, like, staying down for one more year allows them to continue to grow their commercial revenue, whether that be sponsorships, whether that be global merch, whether that be podcasts, or, you know, anything else that can really help get more eyes on this club. They ain't going to go away. Like, I'll tell you that much. And for whatever reason, like with the American audiences we talked about, like, Wrexham is the most popular club. Like, they've caught fire. So it just allows you to, again, just kind of, you know, continue to build, continue to invest in the places to where it's not really going to tie your hands behind your back. I think that's the most important part about all this.
Yeah, like last time I checked, looking at their roster, I mean, these aren't Premier League quality players. I mean, their starting goalkeeper, Arthur Okongwu, was the Arsenal third string goalie, or not even third string. He was like fourth string goalie for a long time.
Which does make it more impressive that how much they have succeeded with these dudes. But again, like, it's, you know, it's wishful thinking to think that they would. Yeah,
I get it. Okongwu was a younger player at the time, and he needed. Where's the other guy? Where's he at? I just saw him. Oh, Jay Rodriguez. He's 36. He was in the Premier League with like relegated sides all the time. Their leading goal scorer, their leading goal scorer is Sam Smith. Last time I checked, Buddy hasn't played one Premier League game in his life. What's the other one? Nathan Broadhead. Last time I checked, he hasn't played in a Premier League game either. So this is not a Premier League quality team yet, and that is completely fine. You don't have to be a Premier League quality side as in the Premier League. Like, I bet you any money, Ipswich Town, or was it Coventry City, one of them will go down. That's just the reality of it. At least one of them will go down, and I bet you whoever the playoff promoted team that goes up, I bet you they might go down too. Like, that is just the reality of this thing. The top of the top is unbelievable. Like, for instance, Burnley, they were newly promoted. They're going down. Wolves, I think, they were the league last year. They're going down. Sunderland is going to stay up, obviously, and Leeds, they're going to survive. Okay, look at them. That's so Burnley is the only one that goes down. But if you go over the last couple of years, I mean, two newly promoted sides. I mean, Ipswich Town was in the Premier League and they got relegated. Southampton, they got relegated. So, like, the last couple of years, newly promoted sides, Sheffield and Luton. I forgot about Luton. That stadium sucked, dude. That stadium was awful. Forgot about Luton, how bad it was. Wow, Dad. You miss all the shots you don't take. I say if Wrexham gets an opportunity, take it. Do you want to say what if, or do you want to say we did it? I say take the shot. Iron sharpens iron. Look at my dad. Look at these quotes my dad said. Yeah, I get it. But then they're going to get relegated within a year. They're going to lose like 5-0 to Man City every time they play. They're going to lose 5-0 to Arsenal every time they play. Look, the quality of their players is not a Premier League quality side. I mean, to be honest with you, Tottenham's players aren't even Premier League quality, and those guys have been in the Premier League.
You said
for a long
Indiana
time.
wasn't going to win nothing, and look at what Indiana did. So, you know,
yeah,
maybe
they had
Wrexham's
6
the
years
new
though. They
Indiana,
cheated, so it don't matter anyway. They hacked in the AI cameras. We all know that. Most insecure fan base there is. Okay, I can't wait to put that. I'm gonna put that on social media too. That'll get them riled up.
Oh man, you're already getting people really pissed. The people are trying to hunt you down, man. So
What was it?
I'd lay off the Indiana fan base for a little bit. Maybe lay low.
The only videos I will ever post that I get more comments than likes is any Indiana related video. It's so awesome. They get mad so easily. But no, I think when it comes to Wrexham, I think they would get a harsh reality check when they would come into the Premier League, because, to be honest, I don't necessarily know what player would want to even come to Wrexham, because Reynolds has told it himself. In order for him to get to Wrexham, he's got to fly into London and then drive another 3-4 hours, whatever it is, to get to Wrexham. it's not an easy, accessible place, to get to all the time. It's not like flying into Detroit or Chicago or LA or Atlanta. No, you've got to fly in, and then you've got to drive another 4 hours or whatever it is. There's not an airport in GR, is there?
There is. Yeah,
there is.
Gerald R. Ford.
So how far? Like, do you have to take connecting flights everywhere, or are you able to like go pretty much anywhere?
There's a lot of places you can go straight to now, but I mean, it all depends on where. I mean, if you're going somewhere really far away, there probably is a connecting one. But no, I went to San Diego from Grand Rapids and Dallas from Grand Rapids. But let's say like Ludington has an airport, so probably like Ludington's probably a better example for.
Yeah, I was gonna throw up the GR example, but obviously,
like you would have to go to Grand Rapids and then drive to Ludington. Like, there's no way you could, could go straight to Ludington. They only take Cessnas at that place. So.
Fabian, I know why Mbappe doesn't play as good as 2022 because he doesn't have the proper girlfriend chase. I mean, dude's on a yacht somewhere, man. He's in the middle of a title race, and he's on a yacht, and God knows where.
He's enjoying life.
I mean, he's got to. To be fair, though, Mbappe probably has to take this little downtime because then he's got to lock back in with France to win a World Cup. I mean, France is one of those favorites where France is probably one of those countries and one of those sides where it's like, if you don't make the World Cup final or win it, it's a failure. They're one of those nations. Fortunately, if the U.S. men's national team got to a final, we'd probably call it we'd probably write a movie about it. We'd be like, we made a final. Miracle on grass.
Bobby and saying my friends and me are planning to buy a 3rd division team in Peru.
Okay.
Can we be in the ownership group or partners with you? Let's do
it. Hey, if you need some broadcasters, you know where to go.
Let's take a break. When we come back here on Inside the Game, let's talk a little bit about Pro Rel. We wanted to show you guys the scenes from Ipswich Town as they were promoted back to the European Premier League. 10th tiers were pissing Ryan off this weekend. Let's talk about that on the other side here on Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Inside the Game continues, episode 282 here on the National Soccer Network, getting into our final topic here in the soccer portion of our convo. By the way, coming up in hour number 2, expecting to talk to Kevin Arnold, play-by-play voice for the Cleveland Crunch. He also did the WMLIS and MLIS finals here on the National Soccer Network, along your good friend, Tanner White, that we had on the show yesterday. So we're going to talk a little Cleveland Cavaliers and Pistons. That series set to get underway between those two. And Ryan, you and I mentioned, not a lot of separating factors between the two. I know we previewed it a little bit yesterday and, who we're really looking at in that stretch, but I don't even know what I mean, this very well could be a 7-game series. We very
I
much
think
could
it
play
is.
14 games in the first 2 rounds of the NBA playoffs, but I think it's a 7er when I look at it.
I think it's a 7-game series too, and obviously, I wanted to get Kevin on because he works so closely with you know, the Cavs and the Guardians and all that fun stuff, and the Browns, obviously, being a part of ESPN Cleveland. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a fun one. I think it's gonna be a really good series. I got a lot of questions about Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham. Who defends Evan Mobley? Who defends Cade Cunningham? I mean, if you look at all the numbers, like typically there's probably a sign that says like, oh, more rebounds, more points in the paint, win you a game. But this just doesn't happen with the Cavs and Pistons. So it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a great battle.
In a nice in a fun clash between a Michigan Ohio clash. So I'm looking forward to that and the anxiety that comes with that. But I mean, if we're able to get through the Cavs, man, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the path has gotten a lot easier now that you got Boston out of the picture. Not that Boston was much of a threat anyway, especially without Tatum on the floor. I just felt like they fell apart, but I don't know. There's an outside chance. But I get it. Let's get into this final topic here in hour number 1. The USA needs promotion and relegation. Some would say so. Ryan, I know you were talking about the 10th tiers. We're maybe rubbing you the wrong way this weekend. What do you mean by all that?
Yeah, just because like, look at it. I mean, where's the video at? Oh, I gotta put in the right scene. There we go. Hold on. Just pause for 1 second. No, it's.
Stand by.
I absolutely love the way that these fans are just so passionate. We don't get to see this really, you know. I mean, I guess we see some court stormings, I guess, every now and again, or some field stormings when teams win. But I mean, it's awesome, and I absolutely, you know, love stuff like this. This is the 10th tier or something, and look at that, to get promoted into the 9th tier of English football, and they're just running around. All the fans come over. I mean, look at the stands. There's like 3 rows. I don't even know who these teams are. Never heard of them. But just look at them. They're just running around, screaming. Like they're just running around with their heads cut off. Like we don't get to see that when it comes to American sports. And I just think that's amazing. And I've never been a part of a court storm or a field storm when it comes to college athletics. But I mean, oh, look at their VO cameras. Their VO cameras are right there. Shout out VO. They work extensively with us. But like, that's just awesome to see something like that. And we don't get to see that. Like the Lions win a playoff game against the Rams for the first time in like 40 years. You're telling me that they can't just storm the field like that? They can't storm Ford Field? I don't know. I just wish we had this a little bit more in American sports.
The scenes that come from being promoted and achieving that goal is really insurmountable. You know, looking at especially the video we showed the other day with Ipswich Town and you know, watching their fans pour onto the pitch, and York recently when we saw that whole crazy thing that went down. And after our conversation with Neil Rule about how the USL product from a viewership perspective stacks up side to side against Major League Soccer when they're in prime time, imagine just for a moment that the highest league in our country was the top of a set pyramid and allowed something like promotion. I mean, imagine, you know, we're at the DCFC game. Imagine punching that ticket in front of a home crowd on a Saturday night in Detroit, when we heard all these things about how they're one of the greatest fan bases that the country has to offer. I mean, if it's one of the best environments the country has to offer, now picture that there's a clear pathway and a chance for them to earn their way to the toppest league, not by the money that they propose, but by how they play. You know, Joel Nash, and I thought it was when I asked him, what is the biggest area of growth in the United Soccer League? He didn't go into depth on it, but I think it's pretty telling when one of the first things on his mind to mention in response to that question is we're testing out promotion and relegation and what that looks like. Because the number one thing that he focused on early in that conversation, and it made me smile a little bit because it's something that you and I have been saying a ton on our show, but it always feels good to finally get it confirmed by someone who's actually in that seat. But the authenticity of getting these smaller communities, these smaller towns, these smaller clubs, and creating an environment in which they can, by the way they play and the way they develop and performing better, can get to higher levels and find more business success. And so testing that out is an area that I know that he's thinking about, and that's front of mind, because this is, again, just another step in the direction of creating authenticity, excitement, something more than just, I'm sorry, a playoff format and a closed league structure where a team doesn't necessarily need to be the best or find themselves atop the table. We get complacency, and that's what it's you just look at all the other American sports leagues. It seems like there is a level of complacency when it comes to the middle of the pack. Bottom of the pack, they're tanking to get better draft picks. Top of the pack, obviously they know they have a chance to win a championship, so they're taking everything seriously. It's more the middle teams than anything else. And so if from just a authenticity and an excitement standpoint, I think it would be awesome. From a logistics standpoint, I get why it would be hard, but this is why it's important for the USL to test the waters on the things they are. And this is why we've been, in conjunction and in such a close relationships and, everything with the USL, because that's exactly what they want. And they're looking to people and companies like us to be able to provide that authenticity. And so I think that component's really cool. And that's what I'm really excited about this summer, but it would create a different environment, I think, just in general. And that's the most important thing. And a new environment, a new culture, something where it's like, again, I would agree with you. I do think that it would be awesome.
The only thing that, might rub Americans the wrong way in terms of promotion and relegation is the whole parity thing. Well, I just love that Man City wins the league every year and Real Madrid versus Barcelona wins the league every single year. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I get it. The whole parity thing. Well, if we're being completely honest, the Dodgers are in the midst of a dynasty right now. We think
also keep in mind that baseball is almost kind of designed to be a league in which you don't have a team like that, where there can be parity. Because if the worst team gets the best pick every year, then what do you do with it? I don't know. Anyways, continue, Ryan.
Dave, this is a great comment. Get promoted into the 9th tier and the ticket prices skyrockets to £10. Just Googled them, £7 for an adult ticket. Yeah, man, those ticket prices, I don't necessarily know if those fans are going to be able to afford that. Fabian right now and I are arguing about the World Cup. Look at Mbappe, or France did not win the last World Cup or the last Euros, and that's all I'm saying. That's just all I'm saying. Spain did. Anyway, back to the promotion relegation. Everyone complaining about the parity. Well, we need this, we need that. Well, if we look at the MLB, the Dodgers are currently in the midst of a dynasty, and they probably will be for the next couple of years, depending on if there's baseball being played or not. Let's see, NFL. I mean, the Patriots ran things for like 20 years. They won 6 Super Bowls. Oh, wait, and then right when they end, the Chiefs just start taking over. They got like 3 championships in like 5 or 6 years. That's it. I mean, the Seahawks have won 2 in the last decade. The Eagles have won 2 in the last decade. Then we go over to the NBA side of things. I mean, Michael Jordan had a dynasty. The Lakers, Celtics had a dynasty. Then you also got to think the Lakers the second time around with Kobe and Shaq. They won 5 Kobe won 5 championships. Then you think of the Spurs in the middle of that. They had a dynasty rolling. Then it goes into the Warriors. The Warriors won 4 out of like 7 or whatever it was. And that was the Warriors versus Cavs for 4 years. So that's like, okay, there's not really a ton of parity in that. Yeah. NHL, currently the Florida Panthers won 2 straight. No parity in that either. So it's like, guys, there's also, if you were to think about it, college football, the same thing. It was Alabama. It's the same couple teams. Alabama, Ohio State. Indiana, obviously, this year. Michigan won 1. Georgia won a couple. Clemson was in there. It's, guys, just because we don't have promotion and relegation in our American sports, there isn't a ton of parity, to be completely honest with you. There's a lot of dynasties of the same teams winning stuff all the time.
Also, think about the teams at the bottom of the table. I mean, think about in closed league structures, think about teams that are sellers. Like if let's say, for example, if I'm the Pirates, right, and I'm second to last in the NL Central, and then the trade deadline comes along, and this is a couple of years from now, and now Paul Skeens is asking for $7 bajillion, you sell him to an organization like the Dodgers. And so what does that do for you? Well, you get a bunch of young prospects and you try to build from there. But essentially, the teams that suck just give all their good players to the teams that are really good, so that all of a sudden that just makes them that much better and they can make a playoff run. So half the league, again, is just tanking off the face of the earth because they want to. The portion of the league at the very top in these closed league structures are good enough to go win a championship. And then you have all this kind of garbage in the middle. And if you're not in the picture, like I feel like more now than ever before, like teams are more willing to admit that, hey, we're not going to win a championship this year. So let's just put whoever the hell out there, whenever the hell. If you're at the bottom of the table, if in the Premier League or in any of these other places, like you have to fight for your survival.
Yeah, you still got to play. You can't rest, guys.
Yes. You can't just you just mail it in this year. We can't be halfway through the year playing Ryan Glinsky and Nate Wangler and
they'd win a championship if they had us out there. They'd win championships left and right. There really wouldn't be any parity in the leagues.
Depends what organization it'd be in. I mean, it all depends. But that also makes a difference too. So it's not just like, okay, parity, whatever, but also big thing, even the bad teams still have to play and perform. Over here, if I go to a Utah Jazz game this year, they don't I'm
Have
serious.
you ever seen the NBA in the final 2 weeks of the season where a team is just tanking for a draft pick?
Yes.
It is the worst basketball I've ever seen. It is literally just G League guys, and then all of a sudden, the whole starting five is just in street clothes because they're hurt all of a sudden. That's the biggest issue. And you bring up a fantastic point. That's the main point that I was going to bring up is you still have to play. You have got to play every single game. And what is the biggest issue? Hey, Fabian says, I love this show. Hey, shout out to you, Fabian. Appreciate it.
And that's why very quickly, before you get to what you're going to say, that's why wins matter more. Like just winning in general matters that much more in a pro rel system. From what I see.
And this guy Fabian and I have been arguing about this whole Mbappe thing in the World Cup. Hey, he scored 2 PKs in the World Cup final. Messi only scored 1. That's the different issue there. Gosh. Anyway, the biggest issue in American sports is, and I think you can agree with it, is like the trying hard or like, do they even care? Yada yada. Like that's the point that everyone. Well, the regular season doesn't mean anything anymore. This and that. Well, why do so many people like college athletics? Because the regular seasons mean something. Where in college football, to make the playoff, you need at maximum 3 losses. Maximum 3 losses. To be honest with you, to get you into the playoff, you need a maximum of 2 losses. That's the reality of it. But some teams could maybe sneak in with 3 depending on the way that things go. But you need to win 10 out of your 12 games. Or 11 or whatever. You need to win those games. And we just talked about it with Michigan basketball. Well, why do you think they didn't play higher than a 4 or what was it? No, they didn't play higher than a 4 seed on their run to the Final Four because they were a 1 seed. It's the same thing with Arsenal. Well, they haven't played Bayern, they haven't played PSG or Barcelona or Real Madrid. Look when you finish first in certain things and the regular seasons matter and the table phase matter, you get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to playing in the big moments, the playoffs, the tournaments. Why? Because you get a weaker pathway to get to the Final Four or the Champions League final. Michigan was a 1 seed. Guess what? They didn't have to play. They didn't have to play a 2 seed. They didn't have to play a 3 seed until they got to the Final Four. And then Arsenal, they don't have to play any of the big boys until the Champions League final if they get there. They got to play Bayer Leverkusen, Sporting Lisbon, and Atletico Madrid. They had Barcelona on their side, but Barcelona had to win multiple phases to even get to play Arsenal. That's the difference in all of this. And the regular season means so much more when it comes to promotion and relegation. If I'm a fan, like for instance, when the Tigers and the Red Wings and the Pistons were like god awful. Like in the 2018s, the 17s, the 2020s, the 2021. That I wasn't tuned in ever. Why? Because I knew we were going to lose, and the only time I tuned in to the Pistons was to make sure that our best players were not playing so we could tank and potentially get Cade Cunningham. Thank God we did. Because
let me
the
put it
regular
this,
season don't mean anything if you're trash.
Yeah. The only thing that is exciting or unique or worth watching in a season in which your team is terrible in a closed league structure is the fact that tickets are as inexpensive as they are. Like, that's the only real exciting thing, because there was a stretch there I could go to a Pistons game and sit floor side for $100, and that was awesome. But outside of that, like, there's no other redeemable reason to ever watch it.
Yeah, and you're not even really watching a great product. To be
yeah,
honest
it
with
is
you.
true. Yeah, you just get to post about how you're sitting courtside and pretend like that's a cool thing. You're watching a team that's won like 7 games all year. So that is, I think the emotional component of it, I think people love to see that, and I would love to see it too. But it creates an environment where you have to compete. I don't care if you're bottom of the table, top table, middle table, doesn't matter. You got to compete. Now, does that mean like, soft once in a while and like, oh, I gotta sit out? What? No, this stuff's gonna happen, but it just it creates a completely different environment altogether.
When I look at a Premier League table, like late into the season, like what I'm seeing right now with Tottenham, I'm watching, because if they get relegated, imagine if they were to get relegated, they go down in division. They're not here anymore. They've been fighting for their lives the last 2 months of the season. Why? Because they're in a relegation battle, and a club of that magnitude, with the amount of money that they've put into stadiums. They spent so much money so they could host NFL games, which is, again, the stupidest thing there is in the history of sports, is we're going to play NFL regular season games overseas. It's so stupid. Anyway, I digress. That's another point for another day. But this team of this magnitude, if we're looking at it, there's realistically 3 teams. Nottingham Forest, and Tottenham, and West Ham that are realistically in a relegation battle at this point. Maybe Palace and Leeds, but I think they're safe at that point. But there's 3 teams that are battling to keep 2 spots, which is stay promoted in 17th and 16th. That is what they are playing for. And these 3 teams, which normally in a bottom 3, bottom 5 team in any American league, MLS included, MLB, NHL, whatever, they would be done. They'd be just mailing it in. But guess what? In a system like this, they've got to play super hard. And I didn't even mention this point. I thought you were going to mention it in everything. You know what all the little clubs say, all the smaller clubs say when, the big clubs come to town, is they sit there and they go, dude, Erling Haaland's coming to our ground. Thierry Henry's coming. Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira, those guys are coming to our ground. That's what they're so excited for, because those fans are also just as excited to see the other team play against their team. Like, they want to see those guys play in person. Like, you're telling me if Messi, for some reason, was in the U.S. Open Cup or the MLS, they played against Detroit City FC at Keyworth, obviously, at Keyworth, when promotion relegation becomes a thing, Keyworth isn't going to be a thing. But if Messi somehow was still playing, you're telling me that place isn't going to be sold out? It's going to be packed. It's going to be loud because Messi's there. That's also something that's never mentioned in the promotion relegation, is those little clubs, those little teams absolutely love. It'd be like if LeBron James came to McGurk Arena in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, the Lakers, or his Lakers are all of a sudden playing against the Flint Tropics all of a sudden. Flint Tropics get promoted in the NBA. I know that's a mythical team, but all of a sudden they get promoted into the NBA and they gotta play them. That place is gonna be packed. If Tottenham falls, it's because they let Son leave to the MLS. Yeah, probably. Let's see. Dave says, look at Saturday and Sunday in England, last day of the season, all games on at the same time, keeping an eye on 5 different games where any goal could relegate your team. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Sometimes it's Survival Sunday, sometimes it's Championship Sunday. It kind of depends on what's going on in the league. No, there was a time where I was watching, I think it was like 2011, 2010, 2009. It was like Blackpool, Portsmouth, something else. Every team was relegated at one point in the 90 minutes. They were in the relegation zone at least one time. Some of them obviously stayed up, but some teams were relegated at certain points in the 90 minutes. That's amazing. That's so awesome.
crazy.
You're telling me the final game of the NBA season, the NFL season, we could see that? We need it.
You gotta,
we
you
need
gotta
it.
figure out if the Jazz are getting sent down. Oh man, that's funny. No, yeah, I think it's just a completely different world from what we're used to seeing here in the U.S. So I don't think the USL will have any problems in terms of getting players to play or want to prove themselves because it's the USL. I mean, it's a prospect league. So I wouldn't necessarily say that that they're going to have any issues with that, but it will be very fun to see if these small communities get in a position to where, hey, you need to win this one in order to get to the next level. Like picturing like a DCFC, like taking on Flint or something in like a pro rel type of situation. Yeah, that would be that'd be something.
Which, by the way, we do got to mention that tomorrow is that USL did agree on their new CBA agreement with all the players.
Yes.
Their minimum wage is now $65,000 a year is the minimum contract now. So
ain't too bad.
It's improved. It's gone up 27,000 from 40,000 is what the minimum was. So, and then obviously a whole bunch of other things that are going on. We'll talk more in depth on USL tomorrow, but they did get a new CBA. But if we're being honest, the only way the USA Soccer will ever get promotion relegation is if somehow the USL, it's going to be hopefully implemented. I'm sure there are lots of things that have got to be ironed out. But if the promotion relegation becomes a thing and they start taking viewers and they start taking fans and they start taking from the MLS, all of a sudden, teams like the Columbus Crew, just for an example, they get probably 15,000 people at a game. All of a sudden, it's going down to 9,000. Or the Inter Miami, they got a new stadium. All of a sudden, they lose 10,000 fans or whatever a game. And because these fans are going to the different USL clubs, why? Because there's promotion and relegation. Then we will finally see something get done. But the only way this happens is if the USL starts taking money away from the MLS. That's the only way this is going to happen.
Yeah, it's not out of the question. Let's tell people about Barca Academy, though. We'll bring it right back again. Kevin Arnold set to join us at 10:15.
We'll do some questions. We'll do
some mailbag on the other side. That's cool with me. Barca Academy, proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network and the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States. Designed for boys and girls ages 6 to 18, Barca Academy camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30. Again, that's FCB30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca camp, I see my son grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
In Barca camp, I see my son grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
Welcome in. Inside the Game here, 282 on the National Soccer Network. Expecting Kevin Arnold to join us here in about 5 minutes from now. But we can get into a couple of comments if you'd like, Ryan. I don't know if you have any that jump off the page at you. I know we've been putting a lot of stuff out recently. Let's see we got some good ones here.
Yeah, no,
and not from Fabian this time around.
No, we can get into the promotion relegation questions and all that fun stuff. No, we don't, says Mansa Mike. 2 teams that won the Scottish Premier League for the last 30 years because of Pro Rel. It's overrated. Dave, you might have to have some words on that. Someone commented to his comment, why is that Pro Rel fault? I mean, technically that's a good point. I mean, promotion relegation is not the fault for why things happen. I mean, if we're being honest, teams have to make, decisions on players and coaches, and sometimes the players and the coaches just don't fit well together. So it's I don't know. It's not necessarily the system's fault all the time. Sometimes you may have to look at the clubs and realize, man, we just are not that good compared to them. So that in our coaching and our yes, I understand. A lot of people are saying USL is adding Pro Rel. Yes. What is it? Imagine this comes from a user 568. Imagine baseball with a Pro Rel system. Imagine the New York fans in September watching the Mets get relegated to AAA.
Well, you know damn well they wouldn't. Well, the Mets, the Mets would, certainly. And, well, what's funny is that they would not only get relegated, but they get relegated with one of the top payrolls in Major League Baseball. So, like, that would be the part where it's like, man, now you got to go play the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Have fun. Should be a good time.
This is a good one. Which, by the way, user 446, I don't enjoy watching City win the league every single year. Proud Cascadian. To the parity people, I'm completely with you, but if we have Pro Rel and still have parity, we will still have parity as long as we keep the salary cap in the playoffs, we will have parity. It would still be awesome and so fun to have promotion and relegation. Yeah, look, I think that is something else that's not... I mean, there is technically a salary-ish cap when it comes to the European game. I know there's the financial fair play and all that fun stuff, and some teams get to the limit. But, I mean, it's not really enforced, I guess. Look at Manchester City and look at Chelsea, to be completely honest with you. I'm just saying. But, I mean, if you're able to keep some sort of salary cap, but you would have to raise it, obviously, I would think. If you're able to keep some of those elements, I think you could have a really, really good product because you'll still have parity. And for all the people that still want to see Manchester City win the league every single year, you guys are just crazy. That's all I got to say. I know a couple people that played in USL that are now in Argentina Division 1. They're Islanders from Peru. Shout out to them. Let's see here. USA
there were some funny ones on your handball video that you made the other day. I did see a couple of comments on that one.
Which is?
Let's see what we got here.
And I defend Manchester United for the first time ever, and people get mad at me. That's insane. That's the last time I'm ever doing that again.
There were a couple of comments on Neil Rule talking about the TV audience for the USL and viewership ratings. Rick says USL cares more about soccer. MLS cares more about stadiums. I think MLS cares more about image and vanity and creating a true to form European American professional league. Whereas I feel like the USL is actually more analytically driven. Like they look at numbers and communities, and they're trying to build something that looks more like the European game. I think that's the separator between the two. Again, just me personally, but I mean, you do have five teams that are valued over $1 billion. Now that might have to do with the ownership that runs the team, but we got Kevin joining us.
Kevin Arnold from ESPN Cleveland and also the Cleveland Crunch in the Major League Indoor Soccer. Kevin, welcome back.
Kevin, what's going on?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Doing good. All right. How about yourself? Appreciate you joining here today on Inside the Game. We got a fun series coming up between the Cavs and Pistons, man. It's so many different ways. You look at all the different numbers are very evenly matched. Just initial thoughts when you look at the series, your initial thoughts going in.
I am ready to hunker down for a long series. That is exactly what I thought of as soon as I saw, the Cavs finally get through the Raptors, which, that was probably should have ended them a little bit sooner than we did. I feel like you guys probably felt, probably should have been a little bit more ahead in with Orlando. But look, both teams going through 7-game series. I would say tonight in game 1, Detroit being able to stay home in their preparations and having a little bit more time off since the end of their game 7, may give them a little bit of an advantage. But this could be a slugfest if the Cavs bring the physicality we saw in half number 2 of game 7.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. Do you think the Cavs or the Pistons, are we in for a horrible basketball game tonight, just based on both teams having game 7s played on Sunday now today? Are we in for a bad, game here tonight, just with all the legs and all the energy that they had in game 7? Pistons, on the other hand, they were playing for their lives the last couple of games.
I mean, game 4 of Cavs Raptors was a bad game, so I'm hoping it's not anything like that. I couldn't stand watching the ball clang off the rim and the backboard a bunch of times from both teams. It could be just with some dead legs and trying to ramp back up with a new series. You're facing off against a new team, which I think can give both teams a different energy. You're not seeing the same guys across from you tonight. So it's, there's a little bit more motivation. There's other storylines I'm sure we'll get into that go behind the scenes in this one. But, I think at least in the first half or maybe even the first quarter, we could see a lower scoring quarter as both teams kind of settle in, try to figure things out. I think whichever team can maybe establish something in the paint can really gain an early rhythm in this game tonight.
What gave Orlando the edge in the last series is they were able to take away Cade in those first handful of games. Now, obviously, later on, he was able to get through. Wagner gets hurt. He's not in the picture. He's finally able to be the superstar that we want him to be. Who takes Cade away for the Cavs? Is it one guy or is it by committee?
I mean, they're probably at least gonna start with Dean Wade. They're gonna try to put, Dean Wade as their defensive stopper. That's what they did against Brandon Ingram, at least to start. And then when Ingram went out against the Raptors, Wade went up against Scotty Barnes. Now, he did not do, and nobody really did a good enough job against Scotty Barnes in that series. Barnes, I mean, he got going early with the 3-point shot, which he's not really known for right now in his career, and he was just hitting everything, no matter if a hand was in his face or not. You allow a guy that's really talented to get in a rhythm, that's where you get into trouble. And if Cade Cunningham gets into a rhythm, that's where you're going to struggle. So the Cavs definitely want to try to take Cade away. Right now, I would say they're going to at least start by just putting one guy on him. Do they start to filter a couple guys towards him? If that's not working, we shall see. I didn't really necessarily like the adjustments or lack thereof in series number 1 for the Cavs. We'll see if maybe all of them kind of learned a lesson there in their 7-game series against the Raptors, especially Coach Atkinson. Because, Coach Bickerstaff has got this team playing well. He's always going to have the defense rolling, and they got some energy guys out there that J.B. Bickerstaff always loves to have on his squad.
I was just about to ask that. Do you think there might be a little bit of bad blood between these two sides? I mean, obviously, Fabian's been telling us in the chat, by the way, which he says hello to you. Dave says hello to you too, Kevin. Fabian's very fascinated. He's not from the Michigan-Ohio area, but he's very fascinated with the Michigan-Ohio rivalries. Obviously, Michigan-Ohio State. And then we have the Guardians versus the Tigers the last couple of years in the playoffs. Now we got the Pistons-Cavs. Do you think there's a little bit of bad blood with, J.B. Bickerstaff and the Cleveland Cavaliers kind of being kind of forced out a little bit from the guys like Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell? Obviously, Garland's not on the team, but do you think there's some bad blood between the two?
There probably is. Nobody's going to say that. I know that there was an anonymous player after the overtime win. I think it was game 3 of the 4-game set that they had in the regular season, where the Cavs should have won, and just a absolutely dumb foul at midcourt by Jalen Tyson to allow the 3 free throws and getting that game 2 overtime with Cavs Pistons. But the anonymous player I know said they're not on our level, which I didn't like. I never like bulletin board material being given to opponents from my team. If we're given that, I'll take it, but I don't like giving that out. Now, who that anonymous player is, I don't know. Are they even still here with all the trades that happened? I don't know. I really don't know. But I think there is a little something there. No one's going to say it. Donovan Mitchell took the high road when asked about that post-game after Game 7. He talked about how, JB was there for the first 2 years that Donovan Mitchell was here. And, he has his teams playing well. He's not surprised by how well the Pistons are playing and how quickly JB Bickerstaff has been able to turn things around and get them through their first playoff series win in a while. So Cavs are definitely taking the high road to this point. I know that comment is probably still in the Pistons locker room back from February, which is totally okay. And there's going to always be that natural city to city, state and state rivalry, and that's going to be infused in this. But it's going to be about who's going to execute and actually bring the passion, the energy, the heart that I want to see my team have a little bit more of, and what I saw in half number 2 against the Raptors, and I think we'll be in for an exciting series.
I feel like Michigan and Ohio doesn't really need an introduction. I feel like there's always something a little bit there. But yeah, no, certainly don't want to give bulletin board material, certainly to someone like Cade Cunningham. The other thing Ryan and I talked about yesterday was the obviously the Twin Towers you got down low. You got Evan Mobley, you got Jared Allen. I think we finally saw Jalen Duren be Jalen Duren at the end of that series. But for a while there, it was brutal. I mean, he looked like a shell of himself. How do you see the matchup of the bigs going down?
Well, I don't know which bigs we're going to get from the Cavaliers. That's it's been
the Pistons.
Well, I guess
true.
for you guys too, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It really is back and forth. I mean, you see Jared Allen be the catalyst for that Game 7 win for the Cavs. There's other games where he just disappears and does absolutely nothing. Evan Mobley can be a dominant force in this league. He doesn't necessarily have that characteristic. I've seen a little bit more, at least once the ball is tipped off, but it's not consistent enough. And I know you guys are dealing with that with the Pistons as well. Who are we going to get down low? Like, what version of these guys are we going to get? And I hate that I'm still asking that question even 4 years in to this whole thing, and we haven't been past the second round. I know you guys are probably frustrated with it, and it hasn't been as much. So, it's just exponentially for the Cavs. Which side are we going to get? And I wish that, we could get some answers. And if both sides are bringing it consistently, boy, that'll be a fun, just for a basketball standpoint, the purest basketball fan that I am overall and in general. That's going to be a fun thing to watch. Now, am I going to be, biting my nails and on the edge of my seat, trying to find different spots? And, I got to do the post-game show for our station tonight. Am I going to find, if the Cavs aren't playing well, am I going to go through all the different 5 seats in our talk studio tonight? Yes. Am I going to try to, sit in a corner? Am I going to try to, pace around the station? Absolutely. All of those things. I'm not just a little stitious. I'm superstitious, guys. And that's and trust me, I'm realistic. I get that I'm probably not impacting it, but I'm still going to be superstitious. I'm still going to do it. So, we shall see. I think it's going to be, Duren is going to, what the Cavs really struggle with is protecting the rebounds and getting the defensive rebounds, allowing teams to get a lot of offensive rebounds. It's going to be crucial for them to keep Duren, and I think even Isaiah Stewart, off that offensive glass, actually box out and not just stand there and watch a ball bounce 3 times off a rim and then someone else is jumping over you because, you just decided to glue your sneakers to the court.
Looking at the Pistons defensively, I mean, Evan Mobley, he scored 15-plus points in every single matchup this year against the Pistons. If you look at the guys that might defend him, he's got 2 or 3 inches on every single guy, Tobias, Duren, and Beef Stew. Who do you think would defend Evan Mobley from the Pistons?
Man, I mean, I feel like you guys would have a better answer to that. Who you feel more comfortable with, but really, I mean, it could be an easy day at the office for whoever defends Evan Mobley if he decides to just hang out at the 3-point line, shoot a bunch of threes, clang them off the rim. not go inside. Like, that's a guy that needs to get – he came into this league thinking he needed to start from the outside in, like getting the outside game going to get him in a rhythm to then go inside. That's not how Evan Mobley should be. He's seen it. He hasn't fully taken it on. He has to go inside out. He has to be aggressive. Like, he could dunk on anybody like every single time. I don't care if every shot that he makes is a dunk. Like, it doesn't have to be this pretty finesse like jumpers and the 3-point game that the NBA has become. Be nasty, be physical down there. Just, dominate. You're talking about how most of the guys are going to defend him are going to be 2 or 3 inches shorter than him. And sometimes there's going to be times where he's going to act like he's 2 or 3 inches shorter for some odd reason. I don't know why, but I think whoever defends him, whether it's Duren or Stewart or someone else that comes in to defend Evan Mobley, if they get physical with him and push him off his spot, he tends to start fading away and cowering to the moment. I think that's going to be that'll be a key, and I'm sure the Pistons will talk about, because look, in the playoffs, and I think Reggie Miller said it during Game 7 of our game against the Raptors, he said, look, they're not going to call the first or second thing of contact. You have to be able to play through that. In that first half, the Cavs weren't doing that, and a lot of the other games that they lost against the Raptors, they weren't doing that. When they played through those first 2 things, those first 2 instances of contact and continue to be physical, that's what got them to the free throw line. That's what got them in a rhythm. That's what got their defense fueled and getting out on the run like they should.
I thought you got another one, Ryan.
No, I know.
Go
I
ahead.
told you, Nate, to go ahead. I was going to
rephrase. Everybody froze. I was like, wait.
I was going to rephrase my question, Kevin, to what are some things that get Evan Mobley off of his game? And then you just mentioned, gets off his spots and everything. So is there anything else that might get Evan Mobley off of his game?
The other things that kind of get him off his game is if he makes his first 3-point basket. Like, that'll be that's something you have to watch. If he does hit a corner 3 and it goes down, what he's going to probably do is he's going to fade out to that corner again. He's going to want to take that shot. That's not his game. Now, is he improving as an outside shooter? Absolutely. It's baby steps. And when I mean baby steps, I mean it's when my son, who's now 3, was just turning 1 and was scooting his feet just centimeters across the floor and holding on to the couch and things like that. That's how incremental his progression has been on the outside game. So again, inside out, that's what'll get his game going, and physicality. Like I said, it's not even just for Evan Mobley. Physicality with this Cavs team, it annoys the heck out of me that the physicality gets them off their game at times.
I feel like we can't talk about the Cavs without at least mentioning the beard. James Harden this playoffs, averaging 21 right now for Cleveland. He's been having a decent stretch there in round 1. What have you seen out of his game, and could he be a big difference maker in this series?
He's going to need to be. He's absolutely going to need to be to take some of that pressure off of Donovan Mitchell. I feel like the turnovers from James Harden, allowed that defense of Toronto to continue to swarm on both of them. But, I mean, there was a 3-game stretch, I think, where Harden had 21 turnovers himself. So that's 7 turnovers a game. Like, that's not going to get it done. Now, I know during the season, and I was actually in the locker room like the night that it happened, like there was I don't know if it was the nail of his thumb or something, like a little bone in his thumb on his I think it was on his right hand, his non-shooting hand, where he had like a little bit of a wrap on it. And I noticed it, but I didn't think it was a big deal. And then, he's out the next game, and he's sitting down, and then when he does come back from the injury, like, he's not holding on to the ball as well. I don't know if that's still impacting him. At this point, it can't be an excuse because everybody's dealing with some sort of little thing, whether it's nagging or, it's a little bit more serious. So those types of things, guys are playing through a lot right now. Jared Allen is playing through the knee tendonitis. There's times where the knee looks great, times where it doesn't. So Harden is going to need to take care of that basketball, and he's going to need to be the guy that Game 7, James Harden. Now, he's got to make more shots. He's known as a bad player in Game 7s, that's for sure. But the one thing he did just 2 days ago was he forced his way to the free throw line. And that's something I know people get frustrated with SGA about how he's able to draw fouls.
100%.
That was, it
is a skill,
it is a skill. And the original guy that frustrated fans in that regard was James Harden. And that's what he started to do in Game 7. Yeah. Like, trust me, I don't like it. On his step back, I still think it's a travel, but guess what?
Same.
If it's not called, it's now in favor of my team. It's not going against me, but I can still be realistic and tell you that it's a travel. It's it's a skill, but it's annoying the way that these guys draw fouls. But if you're going to have success, he's going to have to do that, and he's going to have to get aggressive. And I think that can get his outside shot going as well, because we know when he does get that step back going, I mean, he goes from the 3-point line to like 30, 35 feet away from the basket. He can start knocking them down.
Last one from me, Kevin. I look at these 4 games that they've played, the Pistons and the Cavs. I can't really tell, this stat just stood out to me in every single game where that's why they won. It's very tight-knit. What is your prediction for the series?
Man, this is the one thing that I absolutely hate for my superstition side of things, like making predictions about my teams, because I feel like I'm just like, man, this is not. It just makes my skin crawl doing it. But I just had our digital. I just had our digital team come in and do that. Like as a professional, I've had to start doing this. Like, I hate making Ohio State predictions every single week, especially against that team up north. And yes, I cannot say that state's name. So when you guys say that, I feel like you're speaking a different language until you get back to saying Ohio. If that doesn't tell you what the rivalry's like, if people are watching this and don't know what the rivalry's like that's what it is, and that's how deep it goes.
There you go, Fabian. There you go.
Yeah, but I have to go with my team, of course, but I'm gonna say Cavs in 7 somehow, some way. They get a road win. I feel good that both teams have a chance to really, really go on, and this is going to be a tightly contested series for sure. Like, I know both teams have a lot of confidence going into it. I just don't know until I see them do it. I don't know how the Cavs get a road win, because it just seems like they can't inbound the ball when they're up 2 on the road, or do the little things. They can do that. Yeah. They can maybe prove that they can win on the road. If it does come down to a Game 7, we get 1 on the road some point in Game 1, 2, or 5 or whatever. They build that confidence. Then you have confidence going into Game 7 on the road to still get that win. So I'll say Cavs in 7. I know you guys are probably going with the Pistons. That's totally fine. But I'm looking forward to an intense, physical, nail-biting series for sure. And you guys may want to check on me after each game.
Hey, I got Pistons in 7. I think it's gonna go the distance.
Either way,
the distance with these two.
Yeah, absolutely. Either way, a 7-game series would be probably the best way to go. Given the 2 cities and the 2 states and everything else along those lines. Kevin, appreciate you having you on the show here for the first time, and looking forward to what's going to be a nervous upcoming potentially 7-game stretch between these two.
Yeah, well, I thank you guys for having me on for the first time, and hopefully it's not the last time. And appreciate all you guys do for the sport of soccer and spreading the good word about the beautiful sport that we all love, and hopefully we can continue to grow it here in the United States as well.
Hey, shout out!
Appreciate you. Have a good one, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, no, it's the sport's definitely growing. Especially just look at those indoor soccer numbers. I mean, 114,000 people viewed 6 games. 6 games. That's
nuts,
incredible.
Man.
And the most viewed one was the Cleveland Crunch versus the Toronto Crusaders. There's a little bit of a rivalry.
Oh, the Crunch?
Yeah.
Crunch got a history. Crunch has
been
around for a while.
Them in Toronto have a good little fan base. A little bit of I think it's a little bit of a rivalry, but hey, I mean, it was a fun one.
Absolutely. Let's take a step aside. When we come back, talk a little bit about some unfortunate news when it comes to the Tigers. Tarik
Skubal's dad
is out. Loose bodies in his elbow. not what you want to see, but you knew something like it was going to happen. He's had shoulder issues and other issues, so we'll talk about that more on the other end. But first, Man City Soccer Camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy to players across the United States. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, these camps focus on technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30 and MCNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find the camp near you at usacamps.mancity.com. Welcome back. Inside the Game, episode 282 here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler alongside Ryan Glinsky. Ryan, do you know why it is a risky investment to spend hundreds and millions of dollars on a starting pitcher?
Yeah. Which, by the way, Kevin hopped in our YouTube chat. He said, "Thank you. We appreciate
What
you
up,
too,
Kev?
Kevin. We appreciate you too, Kevin." Dude, Fabian was
man.
trying to get this dude to eat White Castle again. He was like, "Dude, eat White Castle if the Cavs lose." I don't know. This guy just loves food challenges, but no. This is my.
How about Raising Canes? I'll do a Caniac for you there, Fabian, or 2 Caniacs, whatever you want. I'll do that. I got you.
When I used to do my old podcast when I was in high school, my cousin, who my co-host was, used to have a phrase. And it's funny enough because we were talking about Scooble and Mize and Manning during like, oh, they're up and coming or whatever. And my cousin used to use the phrase, pitchers are ticking time bombs. And yeah, this is exactly what it feels like. And Scooble, I know I put he's dead, but he's not dead. It just feels like he's dead. But yeah, no, Scooble.
That Lee Corso was dead once upon a time. Everybody's dead over here. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like it, and especially with, his a little bit of an injury history. I forget exactly which year it was where I think he was gone at least the majority of the year. I think with Tommy John, could be wrong on that. Maybe you can correct me on that one. Missed the Detroit Tiger. Sorry, you froze there. Sorry, did you say something? You froze.
I almost fell into my camera. Anyways, go ahead. No, yeah, I think 2 years ago, I believe. And I think he had a shoulder impingement, shoulder something. Did he have TJ? I think he's had TJ.
But anyway, he's gonna be on the wrong side of 30 by next year. So I mean, with a little bit of an injury history, I guess. I mean, this is why you don't put hundreds of millions of. It was flexor tendon. Underwent season-ending surgery on his left flexor tendon.
He did get TJ in 2017.
Yeah, while he was at Seattle University. Yeah. So a little bit of an injury history with this guy for sure.
And that's why, so when we talk about starting pitching, It is like, and I heard this analogy once upon a time, especially when it came to like the mid to like the 2010s, like that iteration of the Tigers that was going to World Series. Great starting pitching with a bad bullpen is like driving a sports car. And not just like driving a sports car once in a while, but like every day driving a sports car, like a really souped up, like, freaking Maserati or something. You're flying around all over the place, looks cool, looks nice. The minute like the wheel comes off that thing or someone runs a red light and T-bones you or sideswipes you or anything, good luck. Good luck, because you're going to be paying for it for forever. Like insurance is going to be expensive as hell. The amount of money you're going to have to take, and the minute that thing breaks down, I mean, good luck. Like I said, it's not like a long distance reliable vehicle. It's flashy, it's cool, it's sexy, but the minute you spin off or something, you're toast, right? Because that's what it costs in order to own, really high end vehicles. That's what really dominant starting pitching is, without all the other pieces around it, without a bullpen that can carry you the distance, without having the guys in and around him, and that's what those early Tigers teams had. They had the most dominant rotations in baseball, period, end of story. Goodbye, see you later. I mean, Scherzer, Verlander, one after one after one. It was murderer's row. But they didn't have a bullpen.
No.
They didn't have anybody behind them.
You didn't think Joe Nathan was a dog?
Finish the job. No,
Jabba Chamberlain, Joaquin Benoit.
I like what's his face?
Al Albuquerque. You didn't think those guys were dogs?
Who was the guy who did like the dance after he did the strikeouts?
Papa Grande?
Yeah,
Jose
guy.
Valverde?
Yeah,
you didn't think those were dogs,
I forgot about him. Valverde was fun to watch. Don't get me wrong,
dude. He would give you a heart attack.
Freaking riot. But this is why to the Detroit fans who are like, just pay him, this is what it looks like sometimes. So if you're wondering why Scott Harris held out the way that he did, this is why. So this is why right here. So, what that means for his future, they could still sign him. But I will say this before you share your next thought, Ryan. If we are struggling by the time the deadline comes around, the Tigers will trade Tarik Skubal.
Dude, just
I'm saying that on our show right now. The Tigers will deal Tarik Skubal if we suck by the deadline. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and say whether or not I'm happy or not happy about it. Okay? Because obviously I would hate to see Tarik go. One of the greatest West Michigan Whitecaps that ever was. And I love the kid. But he is going to get traded if we suck by then. I'm just letting you know.
I was just about to get into that point. Dave, old Ford truck breaks down, replace a spark plug. Lamborghini breaks down, buy a new Lamborghini. Yeah.
Yep.
So I was going to get into exactly kind of what you were going to get into, which I think the injury would take him up to the deadline, maybe a little bit after, a little bit before. So I don't even know if we'd be able to could we even deal Skubal at that point if he's injured? Are we?
No. Not if he's still on the IL, yeah. So I guess the race is on to get him back.
So yeah. I have two scenarios for how the Skubal thing plays out. One, we can't trade him and he's just going to walk in for free in free agency and become an LA Dodger and win many World Series and never be injured again, just because that's how life works if you're a Detroit sports fan, or a Detroit Tiger fan, especially. Number two is maybe the injury goes a little bit longer. It continues to progress, and maybe some suitors that want to pay Skubal pull out and don't want to give him the amount of money, and maybe the Tigers can get him on a 1-year cheap deal where he's able to pitch again for the Tigers, make the playoffs, and we do this whole rodeo over again. But that's what I think the only two likely scenarios happen. And I said yesterday on Sports Nation, which make sure you drop a follow there, is that's as far as I think that he's going to go. I don't think we're going to be able to trade him, because I think he's going to come back after the deadline or a little bit before, and I think at that point it's going to be a little bit too late. But that's what I personally think in this Tarek Skubal situation is I don't think we're going to be able to trade him, and I think he's going to walk for free because I think after he comes back healthy, he'll prove to the world that he's this great pitcher, and then he will go to the Dodgers and never be injured again. That's just the life of a Tiger fan, unfortunately. But it sucks because the Tigers right now, I think they're are they below? I think they're below 500 or they're at 500. They're right around the 500 mark is what I would expect. 18-18, right at 500, which they're tied with the Guardians. And then it also poses the question, even if we traded Skubal, we're probably still winning the division because even with us sucking, the division sucks as it is anyway. The Guardians are 18-18. I don't think the Twins are going to be able to keep up what they've been up to. No, they're already bottom of the division. White Sox, Royals, I think same thing. So even with not having Skubal, I think we can still win the division. And if I'm being honest with this Tigers team, I don't take anything what they do in the first half of the season anymore. I don't take it seriously because you're telling me we got a 100% of a chance of making the playoffs, and we do, and then we blow
but
a
that doesn't
15-game
happen
lead.
every year, though. Like you can't expect
we were
that.
On a two. What is it? A 2% chance, and then all of a sudden we had a 15-game lead in the second half, and then we blow it. There's literally nothing I care anymore about the first half of the season. It means nothing anymore.
I get it. No, but just the whole you have a fraction of a percentage of a chance of getting
No,
in.
I'm saying we had the fraction of a percentage chance
every year.
Everyone wrote the team off, and then they make the playoffs,
Right.
and then everyone was like, this team's great. They might win a World Series. No, let's blow a 15-game lead. So I take nothing anymore out of this first half of the season. It means absolutely nothing.
You got to finish strong, but that's not something that happens every year. That's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing where a team erases.
The last 2 years have told me everything you know about this Detroit Tigers team. That's all I got to know.
Well, yeah, they're unpredictable. We know that much, but it is going to certainly create it's going to make a dent in what this Tigers team is this year. So who knows? Who knows what it is moving forward? All I'm saying is if they can get him back and healthy, he's going to rehab in West Michigan. At least that's the hope. I'm hoping. Because we need a little bit of that.
You know what I hope, Nate? You know what I hope is Skubal has a rehab session. And you know what's going to happen is he's going to get pulled right before your play-by-play inning.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Yep, he'll go. 2 innings and then he'll be out of there.
Maybe if he went 7 innings, he'd go another inning to allow you to do play-by-play. I'm just saying. And then
the rehabbers, so typically the rehabbers, when they're done playing, they leave the field of play, and then you never see them again. They get really into the 60s, and we never hear from them again. Like it was the same thing with I'll never forget when I saw who did I see? Mets, 2-time Cy Young winner, Jacob deGrom. There we go. When he left the field when he had his rehab, it was just like. He just put his coat back on, got in his car, drove away. He's like, that's it for the day. So it's like, I imagine I also probably wouldn't even see him because he would probably leave the entire stadium after his 2 innings, just be like, I'm good. I'm good to go. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time. But yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
but that would be fun.
We got to talk about the Tiger injuries. Right now, Skubal hurt, obviously. Parker Meadows out. Troy Melton, I think, is getting close to being able to return. Reese Olson, another
Jackson
guy.
Jobe.
Another guy. I'm getting down the list.
All right.
Reese Olson, Jackson Jobe, obviously. McKinstry's out. Casey Mize is out. And then the legendary, that is Neil Rule's favorite baseball player, in Javi Baez is also out. So, there's a ton of injuries on this team.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we're getting closer and closer to maybe some prospects finally making their way up into the big leagues, which I've been told wait for the kids by lots and lots of people, and I'm just waiting patiently for the
Spicy
kids.
talk from Ryan Glinsky. Let's get into question of the day.
Question of the day. It's another themed one, just based on what today is. But question of the day brought to you by Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off that #1 smell-proof cleat bag that 100% works. Scan that QR code on your screen or visit saltathletic.com today. I didn't even download it yet, so just give me 1 second here, guys. I had it made. I just didn't download it. I literally did not hit the download button. It's literally pulled up. But anyway, here is question of the day. With it being Cinco de Mayo, what is your favorite Mexican dish?
It's a good question. Man, I will say I do like street tacos. Anything out of a truck, for whatever reason, tends to be the best.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know
It's
what
actually
it
been good.
is. I mean, Muskegon, Michigan is like notorious for being a place where there are going to be taco trucks wherever it is you go. Now, whether you be beachside or further inland or wherever you are, there's going to be a taco truck around. That stuff is good. I love taco truck tacos. However, that's not really like a signature Mexican dish. Like that's not a. So
you
I,
like
I
tacos?
guess. I mean, I do, but I feel like that's kind of an over generalist. Like that's too simple. I gotta choose something. Tacos al pastor, really good. I mean, tamales are.
I'm a quesadilla guy. I like
I mean,
quesadillas.
Really? All right. Okay.
Yeah.
See,
put
now
a little
you got me down a rabbit hole here.
Either chicken or steak. I don't really care. They're quesadillas. Put some cheese. Get some ranch on there. It's good. But I would prefer the quesadillas from like the Mexican restaurants, not like the Taco Bell ones. Even though those ones are good too. Don't get me wrong. I like them. But I mean, I would rather have them from the Mexican restaurant. I was talking about Aztecas earlier. That's the quesadillas. That I like. Those quesadillas are good.
So, on the burrito side of things, do you want a dry burrito or a wet burrito? What way do you normally go?
What's the
I don't like
difference?
eating my wet burrito. You got to eat with a fork. You don't know that. So dry burrito, obviously, you can eat it with with your hands.
That's the only burritos I've had.
Wet burrito. Oh, really? You've never had a wet burrito before? My man's never had a wet burrito. Wow.
No, I don't.
You gotta get you a wet. You gotta have one of those.
Crazy amounts of food.
Ryan's like, I am not overweight. Yeah, so I would say tacos. I think like I said, I think the taco trucks are awesome. I love guacamole.
I don't like guac.
Guac goes better with everything, man. It's so good. It
tastes
just
like
makes
nothing.
everything better. But I'll go that. I think tamales are really good. Gorditas are really good. I don't like Taco Bell. Okay, get that out of my face. I don't know why I'm the only person on earth that doesn't like
Taco
Taco
Bell's
Bell
good.
genuinely.
That's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's good.
Can't do it, man. I just can't. But yeah,
Dad,
all
when
good
have I
stuff.
had a wet burrito before? He says I have had a wet Dad, when have I ever had a wet burrito?
I'm a little shocked, Mr. Glinsky. He has no idea what
When
a
have
wet
I had
burrito
one?
is. I'm convinced he's had one as well. He just doesn't. He didn't know what he ate. So I don't. It's like a burrito, but you got to eat it with a fork, man. It's literally like wet. Like you don't want to pick it up because it's covered in like stuff.
Oh, okay. Now that I see photos of it, yeah. I have had one.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the dry burrito, obviously, you can pick up without getting your hands disgusting. The wet burrito, you got to eat with a fork. So that's the difference.
Wow. When did he say? I don't know. I don't know how you do it, Nate. He's Dave. Not a big Mexican food culture this side of the pond. Those nachos smothered in cheese, though. That's good too.
Yeah. Heck yeah, it is. Oh yeah, Dave. We'll get you some traditional Mexican food. How about some Italian food? You like Italian, Dave? We got plenty of that over here. Could do that coming up next. But yeah, no, and I guess depending on where you go, like the different food in the different areas of the country, you'll get different stuff. Like you go to Philly cheesesteak's great. You go down south, like Tennessee area, it's like barbecue. I don't know. So the World Cup, there's a lot of great foods.
I'm curious what people are
what is
think.
Some of Scotland's signature dishes? I'm kind of
no idea. Scottish food dishes.
16 things you must try in Scotland. A Scotch pie. Interesting.
Lamb. I don't like lamb. I've had that at Olga's. I don't like lamb.
Double crusted meat pies. I like lamb. Lamb's good. Scones with clotted cream. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Deep fried Mars bar. They got a lot of fried stuff, man. I do see the seafood on there though. But that'll wrap up episode 282 here on the National Soccer Network. Listen, we appreciate you guys dropping by every single day. Back at it at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Quick update on we will update you guys tomorrow on some availability stuff. We'll have some gaps in the show coming up. Friday, we will have Neil Rule back on the show, but we'll obviously keep you guys in tune as to when we will and will not have a show. But I mean, every day we're going to be posting up on social media as we get ready for the World Cup. But all that and more coming up tomorrow, episode 283. And until we talk to you guys then, so long, everybody.
We'll be right back.